Okay, so today we have Michelle Sabado, a nurse, a UGC creator, and now a friend of mine. So, Michelle, how did you get into nursing? And just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm Filipino. My it's like
It's
synonymous.
all of us.
Let's see. So my mom was a passport nurse. She came from the Philippines when she was 25 to the city where I grew up and still live in. And then my mom and my dad did long distance, but he ended up, I think, coming to America like 7 years later, and then he became a nurse too. So I was like, if you are a nurse in my hometown, then you probably know me because they worked at two different hospitals, or you know my parents.
That connection is always huge in the Filipino community too.
And do you want my experience?
Yeah, let's go into it.
Okay. Let's see. So I was a nursing assistant at the University of Miami for 3 years on ortho. And then when I graduated, I was like, I'm never working ortho. And then I really wanted to work for the VA in Miami. I thought it was a special place. Like my school, we trained in like the VA Jackson and University of Miami, that little community.
Yeah.
And like there's just so much going on there. But I didn't get in. But I did start working at my mom's hospital that she worked at for like 25 years. It's like 200 beds. It's like everyone knows everyone. There's so many Filipinos, like OG Filipino charge. like the charge nurse on 4th would be married to the charge nurse in ICU, like or like someone's mom. They're Filipino. Someone's mom worked in OB and they worked on ortho with me. So I ended up working in ortho med surg.
Even though you didn't want to do it.
Yes. And I stayed for 4 years. And then I actually took a break during COVID. It was like, it was like half burnout. And then I was like trying to go pro in professional tennis while the world was like at stop. And then I came back in 2022. I did GI SPCU, but in like a total different city. I just wanted like a new start. And then I did that for a year to get like my PCU experience. And I started traveling last May. It's been a year. I did a neuro contract for 6 months, and then I changed to oncology PCU. And
yeah, we were just talking off air that other people have a lot of experience, and I'm typing down everything that you're doing. I'm like, geez, you have a lot of experience.
And then let's see, and now I have come back home at a different hospital, and I am doing tele step down.
Dang. All right, we got a lot to go over here. So a big question that I see on like Instagram or TikTok is something that you did. Did being a CNA help you become a better nurse?
I think so. When I was in high school, like I just kind of took for granted what my parents did, and like spending money that my allowance, like I didn't give a second thought. And then just being a CNA, it's like, wow, they work so hard just to be on your feet for 12 hours. Yeah. And I've always done nights. So it's just even getting used to sleeping during the day was a big deal. And yeah, just interacting with people in that way, like it takes a lot from you, and then you have to go home and decompress. And it's like, I can't even imagine having kids and taking care of kids and trying to live this other lifestyle when you get home. Like I just want to crash and not talk to anyone.
Yeah. So answer that part of the question. Now the next part, do you recommend people to do like a nurse's aide position before going to nursing school?
Sometimes I'd wish my parents had told me to be a monitor tech. So
yeah, you see the EKGs and then
there's like no patient care. So I was like, why did they tell me? They're traitors. They wanted me to suffer.
But we need to show her hard work.
I do recommend it. Obviously great for networking and great for skills. And just like, so you have a foot in your door in healthcare, you can see if nursing is for you, or if you want to be a doctor, a physical therapist, if you want to be a phlebotomist, if you want to be a secretary instead. Like it just opens the door to so many things. And obviously skills, and even just interacting with people, because not everyone is going to be pleasant in the hospital. Not everyone's going to be nice. People are going to think of you as their therapist. And
Hmm.
you have to learn how to time manage. And even being a CNA, you can
Yeah.
do time management. So, yeah, definitely recommend it.
And then you talked about during COVID, you wanted to try to pursue tennis. How did that come about? Were you always like throughout high school really good at tennis, and then just go into it? That really intrigues me.
I was like, that's like my unique thing. Like, that separates me from all the other Filipino nurses on your podcast. Let's see. I started playing tennis when I was 8, and I wasn't that good. And then I think like in high school, I got a different coach, and then I started to do really well in like state tournaments, and especially like high school tennis is okay. That's like more like recreational. But then I was like, okay, I want to get a tennis scholarship for college,
Hmm.
and they offer full rides. And I just tried my best, but my mom ended up getting really sick when I was in high school, so I kind of had to concentrate on that. And then I wanted to stay in Florida for her, so I ended up going to a college 2 hours away, but I went on an academic scholarship. So then I did a walk on. It was a Division 1 school, but I did do a
Cool.
walk on tryout, and I made the team my freshman year. That was an interesting experience. But there is like college tennis, and then like pro tennis is a whole different level. And let's see, I quit the team after that. It wasn't for me. But
Were
then
you doing nursing school at the same time as tennis?
I was actually doing my prereqs, so I could still
Okay.
handle it. But the schedule was definitely difficult. And let's see. So I graduated, and then I just kind of like trained with tennis with my schedule because it worked. I had the 3 days on,
Hmm.
and then I had like 4 days off, so I could still train. And yeah, COVID hit, and I was like, well, why not just give it a try? I I didn't realize the world was gonna shut down.
Oh yeah, none of us did. And then I even thought like, oh, that's just like another flu. We'll be fine.
I totally thought that. I remember just it just totally flipped. That was insane. But yeah, it was interesting like to practice at a court. Like they actually locked a lot of courts and shut down all of the parks. So but we found one in my neighborhood that was like not ghetto, but like not the best court. And we still
So
trained.
what made you like just like, all right, let's try this again?
All right. Okay. I guess it's like when when COVID came around, I was like 25, 26, and um I'm already like a late bloomer at that age. So I'm like, okay, it's like now or never. 'Cause, um yeah, it was just that kind of thing. Like if I don't try, then I guess I'll feel like I'll regret not trying.
How far did you go?
Not very far. Like COVID like shut down, there were like no tournaments, and then when I got better as by practicing, but then
Hmm.
it was hard when the tour opened up because a lot of the players, like the higher players that are like should not be playing in the lower ranks, they start
Hmm.
playing in the lower ranks. So it was just so hard to get into a tournament. And then money is a big factor. Like you have to have money to travel, money for
Oh yeah.
hotels, for food, for traveling with a coach. It gets really expensive. So yeah, I went back to work. Money like from trees. So it was an experience. Like I don't regret it.
And is that when you started doing travel nursing? Like when you decided to come back to work, or?
I tried because all those contracts, those crazy like $8,000 contracts a week. But I didn't have any recent experience because I'd been off for 2 years. So I was like, okay, I'll just get my year of experience. And um, I didn't even want to travel after I got turned down.
Hmm.
I guess because working in the first hospital that I worked at where my mom worked, like, a lot of the staff were like people I've known growing up, and you just get in like such a comfort zone. And I guess travel nursing just seems so scary.
Hmm.
like we had a few travelers, but you hear stories like, oh, people aren't nice to travelers, they're so mean to travelers. So
Hmm.
that didn't interest me, but I don't know.
Did you travel in state?
I did, yeah, I did.
How does that work? Because I know like some people said they can't do like travel close to where they live or something like that. I don't fully understand it.
I think for some hospitals, it's like you have to live outside a 50-mile radius.
Hmm.
I've heard like quote unquote you have to live an hour away, but I've met travelers at my hospital. They live like 2 cities away. It's
So it's
just
like super close.
the miles, yeah. But let me see, traveling. But you get emails in your from all the time from recruiters like, hey, we have
Hmm.
sign-on bonus for a staff position and relocation bonus. So I was like, why not?
Why not try it?
That's how I came back to nursing. So I could, because I was pretty broke. So I was like, well, at least they're giving like a sign-on bonus and a relocation bonus, but they do tax you. So
That's what I hear. Like I just hear the taxes could be insane, especially if you, I guess for me, I wouldn't know what I'd be doing. So you need a really good accountant or tax strategist to like help you out with that. And
yeah.
especially that like since travel nursing like really blew up. So I heard you could be making a lot of money, but that tax is going to be huge too.
Let's see. I had no idea about the sign-on bonus that they would tax you. So that was definitely like a
Did
learning.
you spend it right away?
I was going to move to that city, but then Hurricane Ian happened.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like there was nowhere to live, and like even hotels. There were like a few weeks there were really like no hotels, so you had to like find a friend to stay with.
Oh, wow.
And that was an experience with the hurricane. I didn't work during, but I worked after, and
Hmm.
it was like they were trying to evacuate the hospital. Some floors shut down, but my floor did not, and we were working like with limited resources.
I could only imagine doing it like when they're trying to send out 1 million people out of the hospital and the one unit that's staying up is yours. And then like, oh, we can't even get inventory in here. And now you're just using whatever you have.
Yeah, we were washing our hands with bottled water, and
Oh, what?
because the water lines are like shut down or like contaminated, the water's not clean, so they had to bring in bottled water, and then I think they would give us meals at night. But for some reason, day shift, like someone bought day shift Chick-fil-A, and there was none for night shift.
Oh,
And
never. They never care for the night shift.
did you work night shift or days?
I work days, but I always feel bad for like the evening or the night shift where like, oh, we'll text them, oh, we got like a lot of food. And then when they get here, they're like, oh, there's nothing left.
It's literally crumbs.
And like they leave all the crumbs there to show like that there was like a buffet. But
Yes.
then when the night shift walks in, you're just like, oh.
And it's like there are 3 cupcakes for like 11 people. But so after the hurricane, I guess FEMA had a contract for nurses to come out and help, and I was lucky to get. So like my unit is like it was like 3 hallways. So I had a FEMA nurse. He was in my hallway for like the contract was like 4 weeks. But he said when he initially signed, it was for 5 shifts on and 2 shifts off, and then 5 shifts on, 2 shifts off, and I guess they would give them like a place to stay. I want to say not like a hotel room, but kind of like a gymnasium or something. But there were men and women, so I didn't get like the full details. But then he said it's like you have to work 30 days for your money that's like promised in the contract.
And were those 5 days like 12-hour shifts or 8-hour shifts? Do you know?
12 hours. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Got to 28 days, and then he ended up getting sick. And you lose money when you call out, and then he did the last 2 days. But I was like, the money was really good, and like kind of like each unit had a FEMA nurse.
Yeah.
But that's insane.
But 60-hour weeks with those limited resources, and you say you're like potentially sleeping in a gymnasium, so it's just like
he had a friend that he did that contract with, so they ended up getting like Airbnb.
Okay.
And they had their cars here, but it was like, you just get in that routine. And like I've done 5 in a row, and you you start to get used to sleeping during the day. But
Mhm.
you're on, like, for me, some people stay on night shift, but I have to go back to day shift on my days off so I can run errands and
Yeah.
be productive.
And you're still night shift right now, right?
I am. Some days I'm like, man, I feel it. Like I don't sleep that well. I've because my dad was a night shift nurse, so I feel like
Mhm.
progressively the longer you're night shift, the less that you sleep. Like I get like 3 or 4, and then if I get like 5 or 6, I feel like, oh my goodness, like the Lord has blessed me. And
And then I've seen like so many like random things on Instagram and TikTok saying like if you work night shift, you're more prone to getting sick and cardiac arrest and all that. So
probably the stress, and I think there is like a physiological effect. They'll have to, I don't know. I'm sure there's studies or something, but
yeah.
I don't know. For me, like when I wake up from night shift, I just feel like I got hit by a train. Even if
Mhm.
I remember sleeping like 8 hours, and like on your days off, you'll sleep like 16 hours, no water. It's
Do
hard.
you plan to stay on night shift?
um, I guess for now, I'm like, I love night shift. I just love the people. There's like no management.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah.
Most of the time, patients sleep, but I just like it. Like I don't like being micromanaged. I just like doing my thing. And
Hmm.
I like the pace, like less family members. And but I have heard the good thing about day shift is like there's so many people, the patient is like distracted by all these people.
Yeah.
You know, they'll go off the floor for a procedure. So it's
Yeah.
I don't think I could be a day shift. I'm not a morning person either.
Yeah, that's always a big thing. Like my dad was a night shift nurse too. My brother's a night educator, and then they like my dad's retired now, but they like the slower pace. You could do it at your own time, your own rhythm, and obviously when my brother was also a night shift nurse, it's like the med passes. There's less of them, so
That's true. Yeah, that's true because on have you used Epic?
yeah, that's what we use.
So I'll compare my brain to the day shift's brain. She has stuff like every hour,
Oh
and
yeah.
then mine is like mostly like the 9 p.m. med pass, sometimes 12, but sometimes there'll be like a big gap between
Hmm.
like the 9 p.m. to like the 6 a.m.
Yeah.
pass. But and then I compare my brain with my friends in Orlando, and they're especially on oncology, their brain is like it's like
Insane.
it's like let me see. On PCU, it's I think 6 is the max, and then at my hospital 5 is the max. But there's just so much more in their brain, and I think it's unnecessary.
In regards to pay, from what like other Florida nurses said, if they're not doing a travel contract, you guys aren't paid so well. Is that correct?
I've heard has really low pay compared to the rest of the United States, especially like California and New York and
Hmm.
Massachusetts. Um, I think I don't know because new nurses start around 32. That's what I
Okay.
want to say. When I started 8 years ago, it was 25. And then I remember like looking at my mom's paycheck. I think from like 2014. I'm sure she had like hit the ceiling or something, but it's like I make what was making for
Yeah,
a
it's
year.
wild. And
And I like just got a raise. I got like $1 raise, and I've only been there for 2 months because the union
got
negotiates the yearly raise, which is nice.
oh, so you're actually in one of the hospitals in Florida that has a union.
Everyone says like there are no union hospitals in Florida, but there are.
I heard there's like a few, and then I think they're harder to get into or something like that. That's what someone told me.
I don't know about that. The first one I worked at had a union. I don't know if it's harder to get into. I don't know. But like I'm so happy to be a part of the union. I'm happy to support them with a part of my paycheck.
Hmm.
And um where was I going? Oh, the pay. When I started traveling last, because there's snowbird season, like all the snowbirds
Yeah,
leave in May, so the census is usually lower in Florida.
it makes
So
sense.
yeah, so usually like the travel nurses, they don't travel during the summer, or they'll do PRN, or the travel nurses from out of state will go back home because we don't really have many positions. And definitely the travel contracts in Florida are lower than the rest of the United States. Yeah, it's just And then Florida doesn't have a ratio law. Do you have a ratio?
We're supposed to, but like, since I'm in not outpatient, but like ambulatory care now, so it's really easy for us in like the EP cath lab to. It's 1-to-1 in the room, and then if you're doing recovery, it's like 1-to-3 or 1-to-4, depending on what anesthesia they got. But the floors usually it's like supposed to be 1-to-4 or 1-to-5, but does that happen? Not really.
Yeah. So like at my hospital, because when I was in the first hospital about unions, I was like, I didn't really care to learn, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like I'm learning you can refuse or you can complain about an assignment that you think is unfair.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the ratios on my floor. Like if you have a BiPAP patient, it'll be 1-to-4. They won't give you 2 patients on 2 drips, 2 titrate
Mm-hmm.
drips, which is nice because I think I've had
There's a lot of like dual sign-offs, and you got to make sure.
some things like at this hospital we don't do a dual sign-off for insulin, even for
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah, they're pretty like not safe, but like you can do your own thing. There aren't things that slow you down like at other hospitals.
Yeah, we used to not have to do dual sign-off for insulin, but then something happened during COVID where instead of giving like 6 units of insulin, someone gave like 6 mLs of
Oh,
insulin. That's yeah, that's an I when I heard about it, I was like, what? I was like, you didn't use an insulin syringe?
yeah. Oh boy, yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. There's some days where I miss traveling. Like, I guess the money is nice because you get paid every week.
Mm-hmm.
But because I stayed in a hotel, I didn't stay with friends or do like an Airbnb because the hotel was right across the street from the hospital. So I like that. And they did give me a traveler's rate. So I like calculated it out, like I wasn't at the very most, I was making like $1,000 more a month traveling. And when I was traveling, they were just dropping my hourly rate lower and lower and lower. So then it just didn't become
Worth it
worth it.
anymore.
Yeah.
And then just to transition, is that why you started doing like more user-generated content, like for extra money?
I think so. Like, I was just doing that account for fun. I was like, hey, everyone, here's how to be more sustainable. and then just over time, I guess you grow and people see your account and then they just like ask you to make content for them. So it's like a side job, but yeah, it was hard like during when I was traveling because I was in school full time and then I still have that account and just like managing mental health. It's a lot.
Wait, you were in school doing your travel nursing contract?
Yeah, I've been in school for the past 2 years. I'm getting my master's in nursing informatics.
Oh, nice. Then I gotta hook you up with the informatics nurse that I interviewed.
Because I'm about to graduate in September and I'm still kind of like, what does this degree do? But she was really good. I enjoyed her podcast. She knew a lot about informatics and I got some tips from her. But yeah, I have to talk to her in person too.
So I want to go into the UGC stuff, but now that we went to the school topic, since you're in a union hospital, by any chance, is it one of those hospitals that is paying for your master's?
I think after 90 days they'll give me, I think there's a set amount, like how much they will give me if I'm full-time versus part-time, because I work part-time right now.
Oh, nice.
And I have not met the 90 days, but they will. So I think, yeah, I'll have to apply for that. Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, because that's like a huge thing, even though I'm like a grad school dropout. But it's like one of those things that if you want to do it, and if you have like a hospital or a union that allows like the staff to go back to school, it's like, if you have a passion for it, why not? Because usually you get reimbursed or they'll pay for it out of the pocket. And that's how you could also just go up the ladder or increase your hourly or whatever the goal is for you. That's always like a huge thing that I tell people. You just got to be in it, where I end up not being in it like that.
It's okay. There are times where I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Like, this is too much for me. But I think I don't know if it's tied, but I feel like hospitals that get the magnet status, like they have more nurses who have their BSNs, like versus ASNs. Like it's yeah, they're really not pushing, but encouraging you to go back to school.
Yeah, that's like a big thing. Like ours, the hospital I work at, it's going for like their 4th designation for it, I guess, in like a row. So they always want only BSNs and then push you to get certain certifications, and then they do all like the numbers seeing on how many master's prepared nurses are on the floors or people are going to school and all that stuff. But I don't know. Does it really mean a lot for like the magnet designation? I'm not sure.
Yeah, the hospital, the last one that I did traveling, well, the only one I did traveling at, it was a magnet hospital, but I was very shocked that it was a magnet hospital.
Because like magnet is supposed to be like the nurses are super happy and they get all these, because it's like a nursing award, right? So it's like,
I know like Cleveland Clinic and Don and Weston,
uh-huh.
They got magnet status. And then there's a few that I know, but it's like, I feel like for me, magnet means like the hospital is safe. Like they're taking patient safety into account and like nursing ratios and things like that. And like, for me, I just did not see it at this hospital, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't want to talk trash about where I'm at, so I can't. But yes.
I feel like for me, like I didn't think about traveling, but then because my hospital, the first one that I went back, came back to nursing, like there were probably like 9 nurses on the roster, and like I and maybe another nurse were staff, and the rest were travelers. So I'm just like, well, I why not do traveling? Because these nurses are doing it, like I can do it, and that's what made me do it. And yeah, I like applied, I think on like a Saturday, and then they like called me on Monday and were like, yeah, let's do this.
Oh, dang.
Like, okay. And it just went really fast, and like life, you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Like I thought about it for a while when I saw the traveling rates. I was like, maybe I can do this. Like just to, like the pay was so high during like COVID and even a little bit after. I was like, why wouldn't I try to do like 1 or 2 contracts just to make my yearly pay in like
a few weeks,
half the time? I was like, why not? But then I'm like one of those safer type people when it comes to like income, and I was like, my job's kind of easy. Like, should I just jump into this?
I feel you. I mean, you can always come back if they really like you. But I mean, you have a family, you have kids, a mortgage. Like
I think that was the thing that was tough was since the insurance is under me, it's like that means when I would go to travel, that means I have to other insurance or whatever, and then I think that cuts into how much money you're making too.
Yes, yeah. So my travel agency is really small. They didn't offer me insurance. Right? Like I had like no benefits with them because they're so small. So I had to do like the Obamacare route, and that
a
bit more expensive. But yeah, traveling is like, and it's I could give like so many tips on travel, even just from my year. Like there are Facebook groups where people talk about like which hospital is good and like which company they like. And but yeah, I recommend traveling like for any nurse, even if it seems scary. Like I have made so many friends from my travel contract, and it definitely pushed me to be a better nurse. There were some days where I'm like, I don't know how I can do this. And you learn so many skills. And I think it makes you like a more versatile nurse. You're able to go with the flow, and it makes you a better nurse. And then when I came to my interview for my new job, I'm like, do you have this, this, and this? Like, because I feel like this does well for a hospital. And they're like, no, you can come to our shared governance. Like, we'd love to hear your recommendations.
Yeah, that's huge. Because like I was talking with when I had Giselle James on my podcast. Well, he quit nursing now, but when he was doing traveling, he's saying like some of like his best friends now were travel nurses that traveled, but that they met at like a travel job. And he said like that was like one of the best things that he's done, because like when you're on the staff floor, you're just around the same people all the time, and then obviously you get into like all the pettiness and all the toxicity that could happen with like being in a unit for so long. But being able to travel all the time, seeing new faces, it kind of gives you like a different perspective and like a newer view every time you go to it, like a different job. Like, oh, I can put my best foot forward and see how this place goes.
Right. It's because I did 2 different units in the same hospital, but it's like I've realized it's like you have like maybe like a month or like 6 weeks of just like adjusting, like figuring out like how do I contact doctors? How do I
Yeah.
reach like my superiors? Where you're learning the supply room. It's like 6 weeks of like panic and like just getting used to it, but then you start to get your flow. So
By the end of the contract, you're finally a pro at it, but then you're like, oh, dang, do I stay?
yeah. So but it's like I don't know. I don't know if I could imagine because I've met nurses. They did traveling for like 9 years, and it's like I don't know if I can do that high and low so often. But some people stay for a year in the same place because you just keep renewing.
Yeah. And then let's go back into the UGC content. So how did you get into it? You said you just started posting about stuff, and then
yeah, and then like people, like companies would DM me like, "Hey," before it's like it usually starts with free product. They're like, "Hey, we'll send you this cup, and if you make a video, like that would be great for us." And then you're like, "Okay, it's exciting, free stuff." But then you do it so many times, and then you're just like, "Well, I'm like not making any money and time consuming." And especially now that their reels are like the number one way to grow.
Yeah.
Or it was just photos, like static photos. And I don't even think when I started in like 2018, I don't even remember stories were out.
Wow, 2018. That we're going back.
It was just like static photos, which was okay. And then you just write a little blurb. And then sometimes companies want you to be like they're like a long-term partnership for more products every month. So I still get like the free offers, but I'm like, hey, I've been doing this for a while. Like, this is my rate. I'm happy to discount it, especially if you're a small business. So, yeah, you definitely learn a lot on that side of like monetizing your social media. It's running a business for sure.
And how did you learn about like running that side hustle type business? Like,
just from experience. And then there's some like influencers I look up to who are like full-time influencers, have their tips, and then you kind of just Google things on the go. Like, hey, what things like I learned about like page usage rights. So it's like you can create content for a company, like you don't have to post it on your page, they'll post it. But then if they want to run, that's like organic, it's called organic content if they post it on their account. But then if they want to run ads, like they need to pay you for like a 3-month span of using your content to run ads because they're going to make money. So there's that's page usage rights. And then whitelisting is a different thing. I totally forget, but it's like went over my head. But then there are times where I'm like, man, I should have done this during COVID instead of like doing a bunch of Instacart and like burning myself out. So it's definitely the UGC market is saturated right now. Like everyone is just
trying.
But
yeah, because like when I messaged you, I was like, how do you do this? Like I saw like a few websites, but then it's all about getting people to sign up for something or buying something. So it's like affiliate marketing, I guess, in a way too, because you're trying to get people to the link and funnel it through, and then you get like a percentage.
It's like 2 different things. So like the affiliate marketing, I kind of like it because it's passive. Like you'll just wake up one day and like a bunch of people have used your affiliate
link.
Yeah, just like money in the bank. But then if like no one uses your code, you don't make any money. The UGC, it's just like shooting content, making a reel, whatever the company wants. It's a lot of negotiation. Like, hey, you need to have it within 2 weeks, and sometimes they give you creative freedom. Sometimes they want a script. So then you have to evaluate, is what they're paying me worth the work that I'm putting in? Sometimes they want just like the raw footage. You don't have to edit it. There's also like B-roll stuff, which is just like extra stuff that you take a picture. It's not really like the prettiest or the most aesthetic, but they just want that too. And you can sell that too. So there's a lot to it, but I think it's good. It's a lot of work. It's time consuming for me because I'm like a perfectionist.
Hmm.
And then sometimes companies want edits, and then sometimes companies don't pay you either. Like sometimes you're chasing them down.
Really? So like you have to deliver this video or content, and then you have to deliver it before they even pay you?
It depends. Like I work with like a small business, like for example, and he paid me up front before I even got the product, and then let me see. This is not UGC. This is like posting on my account for money, but I made a reel for CVS, and I still have not been
For
paid.
CVS?
CVS, yeah.
What the heck? Like a huge billion-dollar company, and they're not.
I don't know. I don't know if it's like they have too many creators and not enough, because sometimes their social media marketer will like quit and leave, and then there's no follow up, and then when you follow up it's a new different person, so it's kind of a headache. So um I don't really see myself like doing it full time. Like I just feel like that's not for me. Like I just like coming to work at the hospital, like for sure that's like paid money because I clock in,
Yeah,
clock out, and then
you know
when
how much you're getting paid.
there's that, and then when I'm home, like I'm off the clock, and then I get benefits. Like I get it. Like everyone's like, oh, corporate, you're making someone else rich, but for me, it works for now.
So, do you make a decent amount from the UGC stuff?
I guess like 'cause I I feel like I've done it for 2 years. The first year, I know I made probably like less than 1,000
Hmm.
for 12 months, and then last year a bit more, and then now this year, like I feel like um, a lot more offers are coming in, but a lot of offers they'll fall through too. Like people will email you, and then you'll be like, "Yes, I'll do it," and then you never hear back from them, and you're like chasing them. So I feel like it's not like a secure thing.
Hmm.
And then for me, since I'm so busy, I'm working, I'm doing school, I don't have time to like go on all these accounts that are offering UGC campaigns and then apply to all of them. And then people also will pitch to companies. They'll email the whatever PR manager, like, hey, I would love to make content for you. This is my rate. I'm happy to discount it, or you can be firm. And sometimes they'll try to tell you a lower rate. Like I've had companies do that. And then it's really good to have a portfolio. It's kind of like a Canva is good for making
Hmm.
a presentation, and you just like uh, you put like pictures of yourself and examples like photos, and then reels of campaigns that you've done, and especially to have um, like input from past customers or past companies that you've
Hmm.
made content for. That's good to have in there. Some people will have a website, or some people just have like a PDF that they send out. So there's that. And I think like a lot of UGC creators do that. They'll send like 10 emails a day just pitching to companies and then see what they get.
And how do you like choose what your rate is for these?
Like when I get paid to post on my Instagram, they say it's like 0.05 times the amount of followers that you have. That's like the rate for that post. So then I just started using that for my UGC, I guess. But I hear you can start at 150 if you're a beginner. But like for
0.05.
now, if you have some experience doing UGC, they say like 300 for a reel is like the
Because that's like 60 seconds.
not
But
even.
even though it's 60 seconds, the recording and everything is way longer.
And some companies just want like 15 seconds. It really just
Oh.
depends on. Yeah, but there's a lot. I wish I had time to like research and look at the trends, because it's just time consuming, and then you get burnt out. Like I just did it. I just want to do it for fun, and I feel like when it's not fun anymore, then I don't want to do it, and you're not motivated. So, and then yeah, like networking. I have like a lot of friends who do it too, or
Mhm.
who are influencers, and then we'll just recommend each other to different campaigns.
Yeah, that's huge because like I was listening to one of the podcasts from she's huge now, like Vivian to Our Rich BFF. You ever watch her like finance stuff? She was
No.
talking about like all the like the UGC content and how to negotiate your rates and all that. But then like I feel like it doesn't apply to people with our following where like less than 10,000 followers type of thing, where she's saying, "Oh, get like a social media manager that does this all for you, so you can get like the biggest bang for your buck." But then, like for me, I have like on the YouTube channel, I have like 25, almost 25,000 subscribers, but on Instagram, like 6,000. So if I was to do it off Instagram, it's like $300 a post. I was like, I don't think I need a social media manager to do that for me to ask for $300.
Yeah, I don't think so. But also, it's like about engagement rate. 'Cause some people actually want like the micro influencers. I think
That's
we're
true.
like 10K. But if you have like most of your followers like tune in, then you have a better engagement rate than like Kim Kardashian, who has like 2% engagement rate because she has so many followers, but only so many people see her.
That's true.
And so there is like UGC is like strictly just making the content, but you don't have to post it on your page. So you don't need a big following. That's why a lot of people are drawn to that. Whereas like I guess influencing is where you're posting on your page and you need the good following, the good engagement rate, the analytics. Like that's what companies want to see.
Oh,
So
that makes sense. Like I
is
don't
it,
know why I kept like
that's okay.
I know you even said like it's split from the affiliate marketing. It's like totally different. Like the affiliate marketing, most likely you're posting on your own stuff, and then you have your link or your code. But then the user generated content you film, but then you send it to the company, and they'll use it how
Mhm.
they want to on their pages or their website and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
You're just like the actor or the paid actor, or but you do the editing or or the script. You even make the script, so there's a lot.
So you really wouldn't want to try to do this more than like a per diem type of thing?
I've thought about it. It seems fun, but then it's like there's like a big joke: influencers in the wild.
Oh yeah, I've seen that
People
Instagram.
walk around with their phone and they're just totally oblivious, and it is it's like fun because you get a lot of perks. You can go to like press events, you get free stuff. Like it is fun, but when I took took all that time off during COVID from nursing, I also took time off from social media, and like it was just so calm in my head. Like
Yeah,
people are not telling you need to look a certain way, you need to buy this, you need to go to this event. Like it was all just like me. So
could focus on you type of thing.
yeah, because like mental health is a big thing for me. So just always between balancing my schedule. There's some days I don't want to do school, and because I'm just so tired from traveling and working. It's a balance.
And when you finish your masters, are you gonna try to work at home?
So that's like the thing, because like I'm like, do I even when I went into nursing informatics, because I don't want to be a nurse practitioner, and I was like, well, this degree I don't have to look for clinicals in doctor's offices and hospitals. Like I just felt like that's such a tedious part of NP
Yeah.
school. And I remember when I was in Miami, this was like 10 years ago, there was a nurse, she was going for her master's in informatics, and I had no idea what that was, but she like loved it. And I guess it's becoming popular now. And
Mhm.
I was so tired of bedside too,
Oh, of course.
really burnt out. But then it's like, because a lot of it is project management. And right now I'm kind of doing like, it's the class before capstone. I am the assignment is to kind of design the project where you're going to be creating a telehealth program for like a rural hospital where there's like a spike of diabetes and heart failure.
Okay.
So you're implementing a telehealth program to help with patients follow up or learn to come in when they're having exacerbation and or manage their chronic disease too. So it's a lot. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what I want to do. I'm so used, your bedside nursing is just like you're in your
Y-
little bubble. You know what your expected tasks are. You have your brain, like it's all
You
there.
just you know what you have to do to get to the end of the shift.
Mhm. But
And And that's like the thing. So like I have a coworker. She has her degree in nursing informatics, and she's been offered jobs, but she's also I get why she's picky because she has kids that are going to school and all that, and then the entry level jobs that she's getting for nursing informatics, just since we're in New York, aren't paying the same amount that we're making now. So it's like
Mhm.
it's the balancing of like, even if I get a work from home, is the taking the for us it would, I think she said it was a pretty huge pay cut, pretty significant.
Mhm.
Is it worth doing that to get their foot in the door for the rest of the nursing informatics?
Mhm. Let's see. So there's like a few points I want to talk about. Yeah, the pay cut. Okay, so the nursing supervisor at my job, she has her MSN in nursing informatics, but she told me, she's like, they don't pay well. That's why I'm still doing supervising, because that's what I want, the pay cut. And she's been a nurse for a long time. She was CVICU. And then I met a nurse at orientation. Her sister does informatics, and then I guess she like works at home, and she makes like 180K. So I'm like, give me her number because I need to talk to her. So yeah, I
A
think
lot of money.
it is. It is for just working at home. But then there's also like, do you want to work 5 days a week versus 3? There's that. It's and like how your friend, the informatics nurse, there's so many different job titles that
Yeah.
aren't necessarily nursing informatics, but you can work under it. And a lot of it is project management. And I don't know, it's definitely a different role. So I'm thinking about it. And then, like, I've always wanted to do CRNA. That was what I wanted when I was 16. I just never got into the ICU. So I'm like, well, if I graduate, then I will have to make a decision. What do I want to do?
Okay, we could go down a whole nother rabbit hole on that.
It's two different jobs, but like I love the OR, and then like of course like the money is so good and that's like guaranteed, but also like you have to get into school, like you're not guaranteed and you have to make it through school. And I'm like, do I, like, I'm in my 30s now, so it's like I'm like, it's time to grow up and like start.
I don't know.
It's like, do I really want to go back to school and like be poor again?
That's the only thing. I think I had Josh on here. He's a CRNA. He's making a lot of money, but he also did it when he was super young. But he also had kids young, so it's like he said it was hard no matter what. But I think he said the hardest part, other than the schooling, was just getting the ICU experience. But he like found like the hack to get there because he was a CNA first in a ICU, and then when he got his nursing degree, they're like, "Oh, we already know him. Let's get him in the ICU." And then once he did his like 1 year or 2 years, he just applied to every school possible. I think that, but I think the hardest part for you, and I only know just a glimpse of it, is would you be willing to move somewhere for those 2.5 years, 3 years of school, if that's like the one you got into, like the one like in the middle of nowhere in the Midwest?
I think so, because I don't see myself having kids anytime soon. And yeah, I guess kind of like, and you know, if it doesn't work out, I can always go back to informatics or on the floor. Like I have that degree.
Yeah.
And I guess it's like also another, it's like a now or never, I feel like, kind of decision for me. Because I feel like if I go into informatics, you're not going to have that clinical experience that maybe ICU managers want to see. So.
I wonder, like, I really wonder, because the few people that I know work from home or have an informatics experience that are doing well in informatics, I think like what Phil talks about and other people that are really good at the work from home stuff is that to get just certain jobs, you just need to really optimize your LinkedIn profile or really show something, just make your resume a certain way that makes you get hired, at least gets you the interview. And then from the interview, you just got to kind of like show out a little bit that you're part of these things that make you qualified. It was like off the recording one time. It's like almost like a fake it till you make it type of thing. So
definitely, because like I was as I said before, I was really bad at interviews. And then after you get experience in nursing, you know what the nursing managers are going to ask you, like, how do you time manage, or like, what's a sticky situation that you've had at work and how did you overcome? Like, you just kind of know. But I think the thing that your guest said, like, was to like offer to audit charts, and that's a good idea. And then also like shared governance. We do we have an informatics council, and then I attend the meetings on that.
Yeah,
And
just
I see.
putting all that stuff, because when I was talking, burnt out at the bedside, Lisa, she had so many good points where she was like, yeah, all your nursing experience is great, but when you're going for like these informatics jobs or work from home jobs, they want to see what like that governance, like what councils are you on, what have you done to push you being an informatics nurse or whatever you want to do. Like, they don't care that you know how to put in IVs, because that's not what you're doing anymore. They want to know how you pushed a project forward. What did you do to make the unit better, or the hospital, whatever you're working at? So that's
Yeah.
probably like the biggest things to do, is like really just optimize what you look like on paper.
Even like being a super user.
Mhm.
And then I think what like helps me is like I've used Meditech, and then I've been to several different facilities that have each used a different version of Epic. So I see different things that we can add to make the charting system more efficient or safer for patients. And like telehealth is that's a big part of
Mhm.
informatics now. And then also like AI is
Oh yeah, huge.
in tech now. And even when I was applying to my job, I had to do an assessment with AI. It was like assessing my clinical skills and like recognizing when patients are deteriorating. It was it was really interesting. So,
Whoa.
mhm.
I know we have like an AI program starting up here where I work, but we haven't seen anything yet that's like helping out yet. I'm sure they're going to start rolling out things soon, but that's super interesting.
And then I was even thinking like I've heard doctors will do the virtual reality like when they're working on their skills or like surgery skills. So I'm like, I'm sure like CRNAs, they would benefit from some type of virtual reality for like intubating.
Yeah,
So,
I'm sure.
so it's like I feel like, maybe informatics aren't paying that much, and you can go into informatics with your BSN, because my neighbor, he works in informatics with his BSN. He
Mhm.
does, I think he might have a certificate, but
Mhm.
he doesn't have the degrees. And when I've Googled, there are BSN positions, but you're right, the pay is a lot lower than what I make hourly now as a nurse with 8 years. But I feel like with all the tech and like we're transitioning to telehealth, like the potential for informatics to, especially if you climb the ladder, I feel like the pay would be
Could be
pretty
huge.
comparable if you just stay in that position. But then it might not be the best circumstance for you if you have kids, or you're the one who has insurance. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going close to an hour here. So if anyone wanted advice on, let's say, how you are right now, like trying to find what you want to do in your nursing career, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, because I think that was like my apprehension to come on your podcast. Because everyone else seems like they are in their career, like they know this is what they're doing for now, and then I feel like I'm at the crossroads.
Which is huge. I think people could learn a lot from this, because I think a lot of us are trying to figure out what we want to do. And is this where I work for the rest of my life? So like seeing someone like you where you have options, or you could create options. So it's like one of those things that's really great to see.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good thing going for me, because there's like that meme where like nurses, you'll work like your three in a row, you'll sleep all day, the next day, the recover day, then
Mhm.
you'll have like your errands on the 2 days, and then you have that existential crisis day before you go back to
Go
work.
back.
So yeah, because I'll you're at work and you're like, is this really the right job for me? You feel like that sometimes. And yeah, nursing is like, you'll meet so many people. You'll meet patients, travelers, and you know, any opportunity can come at any time. Any opportunity can come in your email or like when you're on Indeed. And I think you just have to keep an open mind and always be willing to learn and see what else is out there, because even nurses are becoming entrepreneurs. They're becoming like health coaches. Like you can, just like how you're starting your podcast, like you could be a nurse and you can do anything that you want. Truly, there are so many positions. So and also like if you like your podcast is great for learning about other nursing jobs. And I love how nurses are willing to talk about their experiences in nursing now, like on social media or not, because before it's like I feel like we were like intimidated to talk about them, or like other people. If you don't work in healthcare, you don't understand like how much abuse we go through, and then how we can like laugh about
The
morbid
trauma.
yeah, it's like if you're not in healthcare, you don't understand. But I feel like we're really coming together as a nurse, as community, to help each other, even to get out of bedside, like how we're talking. It's not about bullying or trying to be, because I have more seniority than you, like you deserve to be stay on the floor. It's not about that. I think we all as nurses like deserve like better pay, better working conditions, and we're working together to help each other, even if we don't know each other, like how I met you. So
Yeah.
just keep your mind open to possibilities. And even if you feel like it's not the right time for you now because of your situation, like maybe in the future, just always be prepared.
Perfect. And Michelle, if anyone wanted to reach out to you, how could they reach out to you?
You can find me on Zero Waste Sunflower on Instagram. And I guess I can give you my email. That's how like companies reach out to me.
I'll put it all in the description and down below. And then this was a great talk. I really appreciate you coming on here.
Yes, it was my honor. Oh, my first podcast. I'm so happy. Thank you.
It's a first for a lot of people on here, so I love it. And then have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend.